Hey guys, so in the news today we have a good news, bad news situation. The nurse who was one of the people who was treating Thomas Duncan has been upgraded to good condition, and that is wonderful. I'm very happy about that. The bad news is that one of her co-workers that also was part of that staff of people that was treating him has now been diagnosed positive with Ebola. So the thing that I am most concerned about here is I'm wondering if the reason why Nina Pham's condition improved so rapidly and with such good results is because she was given a transfusion of the doctor. Remember the doctor who was flown over from Africa and treated with that experimental drug? Well, she was given a blood transfusion from him, and because his blood has probably developed antibodies against the virus, I'm thinking that that's why she got better as fast as she did. Now, obviously that doctor cannot give everybody who gets Ebola a transfusion because we only produce so much blood over a certain period of time. So I'm hoping that this new person, or this person who is one of Nina Pham's co-workers, I hope that she is able to get better quickly, or get better at all, I should say, because I don't think that that doctor would be able to do that. Now, maybe that nurse that was working with the doctor could give her a transfusion, but this is a dangerous precedent because, I mean, like I said, there's only so many people that could do that. Now, I'm thinking that with all the people who have gotten sick and died in Africa, if maybe there was some way that they could get blood donations from the people who have had Ebola and recovered from it and survived, that wouldn't it be possible to build some sort of vaccine or treatment around that? Because yes, thousands of people have died, but there are at least hundreds of people who have survived. So I would think that that would be a good way to go in terms of developing some sort of cure or even a vaccine. Now, speaking of that, Mark Zuckerberg, the owner of Facebook, has donated $25 million to the CDC, the Center of Disease Control here in the United States. And I think that's, you know, an extremely generous donation, obviously, but I'm wondering if that was the way to go, because the CDC obviously has a very important role in all of this, but I'm wondering if the money would have been better spent donating it to a drug company or maybe a college that has a strong medical program for experimentation, or you see where I'm going with this? Something along these lines. I'm not sure if the CDC was the best way to spend that money. I'm thinking that, you know, maybe he could have given some of the money to them and then given some other money to someone else to develop a cure or a vaccine. I mean, it's best in these situations, I think, not to put all the eggs in one basket, and there aren't that many people in this country that could donate such a large sum of money that would make probably a big difference in the end. So that's just my opinion. Now, I had heard yesterday or read that a medical worker who asked to be put off the record, they spoke only in a condition of anonymity, had said, in regards to what I was talking about yesterday about not following protocol where Nina Pham was concerned, this other co-worker of hers said that there was no protocol. They were given equipment to use like gloves and masks and so forth, and they were not told to, you know, remove things or put things on a certain way, that there was no protocol. So if that's the case, then that's pretty scary. And I really hope that every hospital in America can develop some sort of training program, specific procedure, something that will work to make sure that we protect these people, because most of the people who go into the medical profession are people who want to help other people, people who want to make a difference. And we really need to protect these people, because if we don't, and then people who are deciding on a college degree, they may not go into the medical profession if they see that these people aren't being taken care of. Not only that, but if a pandemic were to develop and we don't protect our medical personnel, then if something happens to those people, who is going to be left? Who is going to take care of all these sick people and, you know, help them get better? So we really need to establish some ground rules to protect all these people. And, you know, you gotta give credit where credit is due. I mean, this is probably the most dangerous job to have right now, is anyone who is in the medical profession. And, you know, it's always been risky to a certain extent, but now with all these crazy viruses and stuff that are popping up and spreading everywhere, it's even more dangerous. They had found, I was reading from another source yesterday, that they had tested some rats in New York City, and they found 17 unknown viruses in their system. 17 unknown viruses. Now, granted, these may be species inclusive to them, but who's to say that if someone got bit by a rat in, you know, some sort of circumstance where it got into an apartment building or whatever. I mean, you could be walking down the street and get bit by a rat. It could just come out of nowhere. But anyways, if someone were to get bit by a rat that had an unknown virus, this could be something even worse than Ebola, because there's no precedent for it. And in the Dark Ages, the bubonic plague, that all started with rodents. So we need to be really careful about this. Even the Ebola virus, its natural host is the fruit bat. And I had read that, you know, some people were speculating that this was the reason why Ebola became a human disease, was because the African people, some of them were eating the fruit bats as a source of protein. And maybe if they hadn't done that, they wouldn't have gotten Ebola. I don't know. This is all purely speculation. So I did want to bring up that there is another virus in the United States that isn't getting a lot of press right now, that is, in my opinion, just as dangerous as Ebola, in the sense that it has killed people. And not that many people are talking about it. It's called the enterovirus. The other name for it is EVD68. And this is a group of viruses that has been around for a very long time, but for whatever reason, it doesn't get talked about that much in the press. Seems to be most of the people who have died from it have been children and elderly, but anyone with a weak immune system or anyone with asthma is specifically at risk more than other people, which is not to say that, you know, an ordinary person with a healthy immune system can't get it, because that can happen too. But between Ebola, the enterovirus, cold and flu season are on its way very soon, if not already here. And I just feel like we all need to not necessarily live in a bubble per se, but take some extra precautions. You know, think twice about things that you do or don't do. Something that my husband and I have always done to try to, you know, keep ourselves healthy is every time we go somewhere, after we go to a store or wherever, as soon as we get back in the car, I keep hand sanitizer in the console of my car, and as soon as we get back in the car, we put hand sanitizer on. Then as soon as we get home, we thoroughly wash our hands. And I think it really has made a big difference. You know, just doing small things like that can really help you, and you need to, you know, do whatever you can to protect yourself. we were thinking about going to this event that was coming up soon, and it was like an entertainment type thing, and we thought it would be a lot of fun. And then we were like, well, you know, if we go to that, we're gonna be in the same building with thousands of other people, and is this really the best time to do something like that? And is the quality of our life gonna suffer if we don't do it? And we decided against it because it just, why expose yourself to that level of unnecessary risk if you don't have to? You know, there's a lot of fun things that you can do where you don't have to be around like 10, 15,000 people at one time, breathing the same air, touching the same things as them. I'm not trying to be an alarmist or anything. I think it's just good common sense. And that is the news for today, Wednesday, October 15th, 2014. I appreciate all the comments that were left in the comment section. And if you are one of the first people to watch this video or yesterday's video, you might want to go back later on in the day and read through the comments, because I was so thrilled with the response that I got and the feedback, and you know, people were leaving their opinions, and it was so interesting to read everyone's perspective on what I was talking about, and I really enjoyed it and appreciated it. So thanks for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye.